Hello, Chicago Bears fans. Welcome to the Bears Den podcast. I am Andy. I got my boy Todd. I got the bad guy Chicago Clarence here, and I got my boy G Walker from CNG Podcast. So, guys, unless you live under a rock, there was big news today in Chi-Town. We fired our offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron. So, Todd, give me your first thoughts on this move today.
A lot of heat. Obviously, something had to be done. I mean, it was what was it? 9 games? If we played 9 or 8 games, it's a pretty short tenure. But there was a lot of head scratching from Seattle when we made the hire. I remember some of the receivers there were kind of snickering and shaking their heads. So yeah, I mean, they needed to do something. They didn't do enough, but they did something. So. We'll see what happens.
Chicago Clarence, what are your thoughts on what went down today in Chi-Town?
I think that this was a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
To save Eberflus's job. Not sure if it's going to be enough. It remains to be seen. But I think that when you look at the Bears' offensive performances the last couple of games, something had to be done. This was the obvious choice. So just remains to be seen what, how everything plays out.
So, guys, Chris Morgan kept his job. Todd, what are you thinking on that move?
I wasn't really surprised about that. I remember all the talk on the Darnell Wright draft about Morgan being down there, and Poles seemed to be really buddy with him. I don't think that'll escape, him getting fired maybe at the end of the season. I think, they bring in a head coach, then they'll have to do. But I got the feeling that him and Poles were pretty tight. So I wasn't surprised, although certainly it's justified. I mean, the players are terrible, but coaching and the players and player development is something we've always been terrible at. So,
G Walker, we lost you there for a minute. So, what was your reaction to the news today when Shane Waldron got fired?
You know what, man? I thought it was a good move, man. It is what it is. Hopefully the players can get some type of sigh of relief. He wasn't scheming properly. He wasn't developed Caleb Williams the way we thought he was. DJ Moore wasn't getting used the way he was. We never saw any slants. We never saw any crossing routes. We never saw anything from Shane Waldron that we thought we were going to see from him, man. And coming to find out that, he's a part of the agency, Shane and Eberflus and Poles are all part of the same agency up there with Trace Armstrong. You know what I mean? It's messed up, man, because you choosing the business side and the friendships over the QB development and not getting the right guy in there. So I'm glad it happened. I hope the players this week, since we got the Packers and everything like that coming up Sunday, I just hope they got some type of energy and some juice.
So, Chicago Clarence, go back to you on Chris Morgan. Should he have been packing his bags as well today?
I mean, well, guys, Chris Morgan shouldn't have been here in the first place.
I agree with that.
Should he have been packing his bags? I mean, right now, it's just hard not to have a knee-jerk reaction based on being 4-5 and expectations being higher than what we're performing right now. I mean, short of Eberflus losing his job, and I know schematically that would have been very hard for us to do, but that's the person who needed to be fired.
Right.
Somebody has to be called to the carpet and answer for what's happening with the Chicago Bears right now. And that somebody is Ryan Poles.
Yes.
You can't lay all of this at the feet of Shane Waldron. This goes deeper. Because you know why? Because every offensive call that's made, Eberflus is wearing a headset too. You're the head coach. When you're on the goal line and you hear the play call that gives Kramer the ball instead of Roshan Johnson or Sweat, Eberflus has the ability to reject that call. And a lot of these calls he should have been. That's his job. So you can't just tell me that all of this is on Shane Waldron and he's going to be made the scapegoat. Bear fans are too smart for this. We can
Yep.
see right
Yep.
through it. You know,
Hmm.
and don't dress this up and expect me to look through this and say, okay, that's going to fix all our problems. It's not. We are a poorly coached football team all the way around. And you can fire Chris Morgan. You can fire Shane Waldron. You can fire the wide receiver coach. You can
Right.
fire the tight ends coach. It ain't going to matter to me until we do something with the head coaching position. That's
Yeah,
where
we can.
most of our problems lie.
You can fire the mascot. You can fire Staley too.
Well, there's a lot of people in Chicago are holding up signs that say "fire everyone." So guys, where do we, I mean Thomas Brown? I researched him a little bit. He did the thing I liked the most. He did 3 years in Los Angeles with Sean McVay. He
Yeah.
was a very, very good head coach, a genius offense. Unfortunately, last year he was with the Panthers, but I'm not going to judge him on that because that was a horrible team. Because we got their draft pick, we got the number 1 pick, so they were horrible. They fired Frank Wright after 1 year. I know, 6 games. I'm sorry. So now we got him. So the thing that scares me is he went from the Rams. He kind of downgraded himself to the Panthers. And then I guess maybe he thought he was going to upgrade coming to us. Todd, do you know anything about Thomas Brown that you can enlighten us on? I really don't know much about him.
No, I honestly don't know anything about him. I listened to a few things today about it. I guess the Rams really did. I mean, they made him assistant head coach,
Yes,
just
they
a
did.
general title, but then it seemed to back off from there. So I don't know what happened, because I think he ended up the tight ends coach before he moved to the Panthers. And, the Panthers, I can't really say much. I mean, they were just a disaster. I mean, they're better now, and they're
Yes.
not great, but they're better now than they were last year.
Right.
But so it's hard to judge. I mean, I think it's a stopgap situation anyway. I think that if Ben Johnson truly wanted the job last year, we probably should have done that. If financially Poles was allowed to do that, having coaches under contract, this gets into the whole, why we can't afford things I don't understand. Why everybody else can pay, $7, $8, $10 million for a coach and have multiple on staff, or multiple getting paid that have been fired. And, we've got to ride out the contract, which may be another year. So, it's just, I don't know. My gut is Poles probably wanted to make that move and was told we're not going to spend that money. So, but because I think that's what he was told on Harbaugh, I really think that. So, but who knows?
I think I firmly believe McCaskies are just soft. They don't like the guys who stand up to them. They don't like the alpha males, like the Olin Krutz, the Harbaughs. Chicago Clarence, anything you want to add on Thomas Brown being hired today? Thomas Brown specifically.
I mean, it's just a change.
Yeah.
I can't really comment on this other than this is just he's a lame duck coach. All of them are dead men walking.
Right.
So anything that he does is just going to really, really surprise me at this point. This team looks so bad. I mean,
Yes.
we're talking about fundamental football right now. They are terrible fundamentally across the board. And there is something wrong with this franchise because we refuse to do what's necessary. We have been screaming for it. I have been screaming for it.
Mm-hmm.
Do not go down this road because we're going to end up right where we are right now.
Yep.
You do not go out there and draft a quarterback and you leave the head coach in place. The head coach, the quarterback are supposed to be married together. We have done this 3 straight times now.
Yeah,
and we find ourselves in the same situation and we wonder why we got here. It's just like just rowing out there to the middle of the damn ocean with no map, no compass, and finding yourself lost and wondering how you got there. And then you do it again. And then you do it again. And that's where we are. Matt Nagy was not married to Trubisky. John Fox was the head coach when we got Trubisky.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Nagy was not married to Justin Fields. Now you find yourself again with Eberflus not being married to Caleb Williams. We should have brought another head coach in here with an offensive mind who then hired somebody who knew what they were doing. But you can't have a first-time head coach and a first-time play caller married to your number one franchise guy. It doesn't work. But we are the only team in the NFL who continues to try to reinvent the wheel, and we wonder why it doesn't work.
And a first-time GM also.
Yes.
I mean, guys, it's so frustrating. It's maddening. We watch the games together. It's maddening to sit there and watch us on the field. Do you know that our last 3 games, we have had a total of 40 third downs? And out of those 40 third downs, y'all, we have only converted 6 times. 6.
That's crazy.
6 for 40 on third down. And I'm not talking about going against the 85 Bears defense. I'm not talking about going against the Ravens defense. We are talking about the New England Patriots, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Washington Commanders. None of them are top 10 defenses. And we are only able to convert 6 times on third down. That is why Shane Waldron is on the unemployment line right now. This team, this offense is broken. We spent all of this money by bringing in Keenan Allen, drafting Roman Dunze, drafting Caleb Williams. And we have failed this team because we didn't address the number one position, and that's the offensive line. You cannot operate a football team like this, guys. It doesn't work. But we continue to try it. This franchise is lost. They are lost.
Yes.
And if you're telling me that you want to have a billion-dollar business and you refuse to put people in position to run your franchise, and you only get people who are afraid of you, and you wonder why you don't make the playoffs,
Oh, you preaching
this is
now.
why.
Real. Yeah.
This is why.
Yep.
And once again, to show you how stupid we run our business, we want to sit there and talk about we want to look at another piece of land
Yeah, I
to
saw that
operate
today.
a stadium, to build a stadium, when we spent hundreds of millions of dollars on that racetrack in Arlington Heights, and it's just sitting there.
Yep.
Not to mention, once again, we're still making payments on the remodeling of Soldier Field. I mean, this is only stupid ownership groups do this, y'all. Only the
Yeah.
Bears, nobody else. What hope
Right.
do we have? And you want me to be excited because they fired Shane Waldron today? I'm not.
No.
I am not. Because you got Caleb Williams on a fast track to breaking a record for being sacked by opposing teams in the history of the NFL. He's about to break that record.
Yes.
That was worries me. You about to ruin this guy. He's already seeing ghosts. Y'all see, he's regressing. He is not progressing. When he snaps the ball, he's not even looking downfield. He's looking at getting hit because he's being hit so many damn times. 9 times he was sacked Sunday by a team that came into the game with only 14 for the whole season. And they got 9 on Sunday. That's pathetic.
Yes, they got more sacks than we did points last week. They got 9 sacks. We got 3
crazy.
points. And that is obscene.
Crazy.
So, guys,
Yeah.
with that, all this being said, can this season be saved? Do we have any chance of saving this season, Todd?
Well, it depends on what saving the season looks like. I mean,
At this point, I think saving the season is Caleb Williams getting better and better and better, and his offense
I
hopefully
don't-
showing signs of life.
I don't
That
think
is
you
what's
put
left.
a win total on it, because if we won 2 of these games, I'd be surprised. I mean, we might luck into 1, and maybe we can beat the Seahawks at the end of the season, but I don't see. We could easily lose all of these games.
Chicago Clarence, can we save this season?
If we do, it's going to be one of the greatest stories in the NFL history. We're bad right now.
Yes,
We
we
just
are.
we just lost to what everybody was saying was the worst team in the NFL. And you want me to believe that we're going to beat the Seahawks? We played the New England Patriots at home. They came in here and beat us by 2 touchdowns. You want me to believe we can beat Seattle? You want me to believe that we can go out west and beat the 49ers? You
No.
want me to believe that we stand a chance to beat a team we ain't beaten a decade? Who we play on Sunday, by the way?
This
And
Right.
the Detroit Lions are looking better than any team in the NFL right now, and that's including the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. Who's playing better than Detroit?
Nobody.
Their quarterback just turned
Right.
the ball over 5 times, and they still found a way to win that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
we did that last year too. We gave them
Don't
practice last year.
don't talk to me about saving this team. I
No.
don't want to save this team. I want everybody gone. And the only way that's going to happen if we get embarrassed, which I am expecting to happen. I don't give a damn who's calling plays. This team is lost. It's broken. And when you got players who got to go in to management and ask for change when management don't already know that a change needs to happen, that's a problem. We
Yes.
said this weeks ago when they were calling for people to be held accountable.
Yes.
No way should you have to go into your boss and say your teammates need to be held accountable. No job. That doesn't work on no job. I don't care if you're a football team. I don't care if you work at 7-Eleven. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. If you got to go to upper management and say, hey, people are not doing their job. They need to be held accountable. And they say, oh, well, yeah, let's have a meeting. Let's talk about it. Why? Why?
So, guys, what Clarence is referring to is actually a lot of people reported on this today that the main reason Waldron got fired was because players again went into the office and pretty much told them to fire Waldron. I mean, it's posted all over social media. This is from the ESPN crew on Chicago radio, Sylvie. This is his tweet. But the thing that stands out is, G. Walker, I'll start with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the guys on this team, the rumor on the street is they want Tyson Bagent. They wanted Tyson Bagent last year, and they want him now. What do you say to that?
I don't know what the Bears Nation is thinking about saying that. Like, all the problems that Chicago, Clarence, and Todd, and myself, and even people from my podcast, all across Bears Nation, the offensive line sucks. The play calling sucks. The coaching sucks. What makes you think Tyson Bagent is going to come in here and miraculously turn the season around and make this thing work? It's not going to happen. To anybody saying bench Caleb Williams, the only reason why I'm saying we can bench Caleb Williams is to save him. It's not because of him. Why are we still playing him anyway? Why are we still playing him? But I will say this to the people that want Badger in because they want him selfishly and not thinking transparently or objective. And it's a stupid decision. He's not going to do anything different with that offensive line. He's not going to do any different with that play calling. We just stuck a new play caller in here that ain't called plays all year. What do y'all expect Tyson Bagent to do? You think he's going to come out here and beat Detroit? Beat Green Bay Sunday? And he been on the bench all year?
No,
Y'all can't be serious, Bears Nation. Like, stop this choose me, pick me, I want my guy in because I want my guy in. And it don't even make football sense or common sense. So that rumor needs to stop, man. I'm over that.
So, Todd, we heard this last year when JF1 went down for the wrist injury or thumb. Right. I don't know. Bagent got, 4 or 5.
Yeah, he went 2 for 2.
And a lot of players and coaches supposedly like the offense better with Bagent, and now they're supposedly screaming for this again. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I like Tyson a lot. He played well in those 4 games. He didn't look like it was too big for him, but it doesn't matter if they're going to be on him in a second and a half or 2. It's It's not going. I mean, the line.
It's not going to matter.
Yeah, and I do agree too. Like when Caleb came out for that last series, that game was over. It was 19-3.
2 games in a row,
and you're sending him out there to potentially
2 games in a row. We did that.
That's when that stuff happens.
He said, killed.
He tears up his knee or whatever in the last series of a pointless game. It's really stupid. So, but I know one thing. I said we're having player meetings early in the season, and now we're having meetings on coaches. You know what the Packers are doing? Packers have meetings about how to beat us, and and that's
Right.
what's gonna happen on Sunday. I would be stunned if we can win that game. They're watching film and they're laughing and they're figuring out a way just to put us away, and we're fighting amongst ourselves and bickering about should the backup quarterback play or not. We need to be we need to be preparing to play a game. We need coaching. We need the coach to take charge of the situation.
I mean, the Packers, I'm sure they are watching film. They're going to blitz.
Yeah,
blitz.
of course.
Blitz.
That's it, right? They're going to like everybody
blitz.
else. Yep.
Yeah, so Chicago Clarence. I mean, what do you say if the players are going to the team and saying we want Bagent over CW? I mean, what do you say to this group if this is true? What do you say to that?
Get drug tested. What G. Walker said. What's going to be the difference based on what you see? You can't put Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Dan Marino, Drew Brees, all the greats behind this offensive line and expect them to be able to operate the way that they do. You need time to go into your progressions. People have got to get open,
Right.
and none of that's happening. We just look at the film. Look at our offensive line. Look at them try to operate one-on-one.
Right.
I mean, it's a turnstile up the middle. It's
It
a
is.
turnstile.
Yes.
It's less. I will race you to the quarterback.
It
The
is.
Green Bay Packers is not concerned about us. This is a bye week to them.
Yeah.
They're used to
Facts.
beating us, and they make it look so easy because that's how bad and how poorly coached this football team is. For some reason, we're able to win this game. Matt Eberflus would be stunned. That dude would ask for extension. Because that's how bad we have been. This has been a totally disappointing season. And the national pundits are saying it. Everybody is saying it. It's open season on the Chicago Bears right now, and they freaking deserve it. Ryan Poles should be sitting there and looking at himself in the mirror and taking a hard look at the job he did putting this team together. And all we always say, and I still say it, this team has got talent.
It does.
But where you failed this team was when you didn't go hire Harbaugh. I've been saying it all along. I ain't coming off that. We would not be in this situation had you got Harbaugh. Because he knows what he's doing. He has a proven winning track record within the NFL.
Right.
Mhm.
But you go in and you want to be the smartest guy in the room, and you go hire a guy who ain't never done it before, who then goes and hires a first-time play caller, a guy who ain't never been an offensive coordinator, to help you evaluate Justin Fields. Look where we are. Look where we are. Don't be surprised.
So
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if we lose every game the rest of this season and end up 4-13.
Let me ask you guys something. This isn't on my list, but there's a lot of talk that McCaskies do not like the alpha male. They don't like the guys who talk back to them, who will get in their face and point their finger in their face. They don't like that. They didn't want cursing on Hard Knocks, and that's why it was Soft Knocks. So, Todd, what do we got to do to get this turned around? Because I think somebody like Olin Kreutz would be an excellent offensive line coordinator, but we hate his guts, and he hates our guts. As Chicago Clarence screams, they didn't like Harbaugh because he would stand up and say, no, we're not doing that. No. He would tell them no. So, Todd, this is not working the way we're doing. We're just going with the soft guys, the guys who give no pushback at all. The yes, sir, guys.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the last coach that,
Ditka.
Ditka, but even after that,
Tressman was not.
Nobody.
Wannstedt, Nagy.
Wannstedt was a little bit that way.
Nagy was not.
But
Tressman
but the
was
last,
not.
Mike Fox.
Fox may have because
back
he did not
in the
want
day,
Trubisky.
but not the version of Fox that we got.
But
Carolina
Fox did not
maybe.
want Trubisky. He gave them pushback on that draft pick. He's come out and said it.
I guess the last strongest coach we had was probably Wannstedt after Ditka, but I don't know if they were just embarrassed completely after the Ditka thing and wanted to go a different way. I don't know. We're just speculating now, but there's some. there's some evidence there that shows that for sure. That they'll, like a guy like Trustman. I mean, my God, right? So, but
the constant problem in all of that, as we go back and we look at all the coaches that we've had since the '85 Bears, do you know the number one thing that has been the consummate problem?
Lovey.
You're right. I forgot Lovey.
Is the simple fact that we have not developed a quarterback.
No, we have not.
That's been the single most egregious thing. And when we went and traded all that capital to get Jay Cutler in here, we go out there and we get a guy to be his left tackle that was sitting at home and retired.
Yeah.
So our commitment to our quarterback has never been there. And we wonder why we ain't never had a quarterback. Every other team does it differently. The Detroit Lions was year in and year out, along with Tampa Bay, one of the worst football teams in the NFL. It wasn't until they decided to change their culture and get football people in football positions, positions, and you now see that Detroit Lions have totally turned their franchise around. They're one of the best football teams in the NFL, and they ain't going nowhere. Right. They got a foundation going. Right. They got the best offensive line in the NFL. There's no wonder Jared Goff is playing as well as he's playing. Last game withstanding, but there's no wonder because they did it right. You don't just go get a signal caller and think he's going to solve all your problems. He's got to be protected. He's got to have time to do his job. Right. And if he can't sit there and go through his progressions, what the hell do you think he's going to do? Mm-hmm. So you sitting up there and you crying for Tyler Bagent to go in there. What is he going to do? He's going to get killed too.
Yes.
Until you do what's right. You got to build that damn line up. And that's the only way you're going to win.
You got to build the line.
The only way.
Pat Lynch said, "Great point, Chicago Clarence." So
I know. Thank him. I know.
So G Walker, back to the question. Do you think the McCaskies are soft and they just will not let us hire an alpha male coach? They just say no, Harbaugh, no.
Yeah, man.
No.
Yeah.
We can't have Kirsten. We can't have nasty people. No.
Well, I mean, they don't even want to hire people. Like, when we have to make a decision, they bring in Ernie, of course, from the Giants or Polian. It's like, make this decision for us. We can't do this.
G Walker, you want to add anything?
It's just coming down to that. They don't want to share power. They don't want to share power, man. It's bigger than money, and that comes from an old mind state. We rather keep the money than share power. Like, you have to give somebody the opportunity to uplift your organization. Like, they just live in be past times with this. They don't want to curse. They don't want to all the strong personality people that should have been a coach. They don't ever hire. Right. Why is that? Because they think they should have all knowing, all responsibility because it's their team. First of all, nobody in that organization, that ownership, built that team. You inherited that situation. You inherited that. So we have to look at, we don't have football people inside the Chicago Bears. We got generational money, generational rich kids that never, ever play football, bro. Never play football. All they know is to be selfish. All they know is money. All they know is power. So that's why you see cracks in the ship, cracks in the foundation, because it's not anything that's football related inside of the organization. It's just power and old money and nepotism. Nepotism has its place in society. It works. But when it's a situation like this is will destroy. It's going to keep on going on. It's just not going to stop because nobody in that team that owns the team, they don't have like a great niece or a nephew or a son that's going to business school or somebody in that family that's going to keep the family up to date when it comes to corporate America. They seem to be not very savvy with corporate things. They don't have a very high corporate IQ. So we're seeing what it looks like when you just inherit a football team and you don't know anything about damn football. So it's not surprising that they pass up on coaches like Harbaugh, probably Bill Belichick or, you know what I'm saying, Cliff Kingsbury, people that are going to challenge you. So what they do is they put in people that's scary like them. Like Eberflus is coming out there. He didn't hire Cliff Kingsbury because it was rumored that he could replace him. Right. That's some scary stuff that comes from up top, man. Same thing, bro. Same thing.
Yeah, I saw that rumor today. I left that one off the list.
I mean, the Kingsbury thing made too much sense for offensive coordinator.
So, Todd, 3 OCs in 3 years now. We've had no touchdowns in 2 straight games. Our first quarter has been a disaster on points. If somehow, some way, Eberflus and this regime turns this season around, does he save his job? Just say we go 7-2. Would you keep him? Would you keep him?
No, what if we go 7-2 the rest of the season? That's I guess he would save his job if he did that. He's got to save his job because they're too cheap to pay him not to work. That's the truth. I think they're gonna say, well, he's under contract, we're stuck with him. I'm looking at this list of great Chicago Bear offensive linemen. I mean, the top 10, and they had Kyle Long at 9. I mean, Kyle was a fine player, but he wasn't a great all-time great.
A lot too.
Yeah, I mean, as Kreutz in the 90s, and then 4 guys on the 85 team, and some guys that go back to the 40s. So it's a position that we have just struck out on, except for that Super Bowl team in the 80s with Jimbo Covert and Hilgenberg and Tom Thayer, and I mean those guys were great, but that's a different team somebody else put together. And you think we would luck into a late round great offensive lineman. I mean, as many as we've taken, but it just doesn't happen.
Chicago Clarence.
That's because Ryan Post was supposed to come in here. Ryan Post was supposed to come in here and build this offensive line, and he didn't do it.
He was supposed
which is unbelievable, man. Which is unbelievable. It's crazy.
He promised us he was going to take back the NFC North, and I guess that's going to be next year. Chicago Clarence.
No, you know what he did? He was a fan when he got Caleb Williams. He thought Caleb Williams was going to do what he was doing in college and then put an offensive line around him. Yeah. And if Ryan Post did that, man, he needs to be fired because you're supposed to have a better eye. You got a scout team. You got guys looking at Caleb Williams. You're supposed to know that he still needs an offensive line. So he did some fan stuff and just looked at Caleb Williams like he could cover up everything. So that's a failure, man. You looked at Caleb Williams as a fan. You didn't look at him like somebody that needs a real offensive line, man. So Ryan Poles is not exempt, man. I can't believe that he hasn't built the offensive line. Speaking of offensive lineman, like he really thought Caleb Williams was enough just to do what he did in college, man. That's a very young and inexperienced GM, man. That's sad, man. If he looked at Caleb Williams that way and thought he was gonna just come in here and just blow the doors off without a real offensive line that you failed to build in 3 years, right? You should lose your job for that. So, and I like Poles, but he should lose his job for that, man. Sorry.
So, Pat Lynch said we got the cart before the horse. I agree with that. So Chicago Clarence, hypothetically, I already know your answer, but Flukes goes 7-2. We sneak into the playoffs somehow, some way, by hook or crook. Is he back here next year? Does he save his job?
If they make it to the playoffs, they're going to save his job because then they will believe that we're on the uptick and the pendulum, the needle is pointing up. I doubt that happens, but I can see it. I can see him stay. I mean, hell, they let him keep his job simply because the defense was playing better. Never mind what the offense was doing, because he fired the offensive line coach. I mean, the offensive coordinator last year. So if they're gonna let him keep his job simply because the defense was performing well, of course they're gonna let him keep his job if they make it to the playoffs.
G. Walker, by hook or crook, does Fluke save his job if we finish strong and go something like 7-2?
No, he's gone, bro. To me, I think that everybody should have paid attention to that they fired an offensive coordinator in the middle of the season, and the Bears never fired nobody mid-season. Right. So I think that pretty much set the standard that Eberflus is going to be gone no matter what, man. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think that he's earned the right to have his job back despite. And if he does do better, it won't be because of him. It's going to be because of Thomas Jones or whatever his name is. The offensive coordinator we just had, it's going to be because of him. It's going to be because of him and not Eberflus. So either way it goes, he can't get out of the situation not getting fired. But that's just my take. I don't think it matters, man. He's not going to get the credit. They might as well just promote the offensive coordinator that they just hired off the staff that will interview for the job when he got here. And you still hire Shane Waldron.
Yeah. But
Come on, man. It's just stupidity after stupidity after stupidity. So if I'm looking like that and I'm Ryan Foles, there's no way I'm bringing this dude back to coach my team if we make the playoffs, bro. When the offensive coordinator that I pretty much had on my staff already that you should have had the offensive coordinator. Why would we even need you? The defense has already got leaders on it anyway. Eric Watson can run that defense. So, no, I don't think it matters if he goes to the playoffs or not. I personally don't. But I got to get up out of here, guys. I'm going to talk to y'all later, man. One love.
All right. G. Walker, tell everybody where we can find you before you sign off.
Oh, man, you can find me and CJ and I got Alan. Alan's part. He's the third part of the CNG podcast. You can find us on Facebook. You can find the CNG podcast on X. You can find us on YouTube, man.
All right. Thanks for joining us, man. You take care and bear down.
Man, I love you. I love you guys, man. Peace.
Thank you. So, Todd.
yes, sir.
So, where do we go from here? I'm not excited about what happened today. I'm going to give Thomas Brown a chance. I'm not going to judge him. I'm going to reserve judgment for a few games. Fingers crossed it.
He's going to be at least as good as the last two guys that were there.
Yeah. So where do we go from here? Is the day basically guaranteed to be the beginning of the end for this regime?
Yeah, I'm looking at Tankathon. Not that I'm talking about tanking, just to see where our position is and where it looks like and where we're at now and projecting out. But honestly, I think what do we get? We have 4 wins. I think.
Yes.
What was our record last year?
7-9, 10. I'm never going to get used to 17 games, but 9.
Yeah,
10, 7-10.
7-10. Yeah, I don't think we get to 7 wins.
I don't think we do either. Chicago Clarence, do we answer Todd's question? Do we get to 7 wins?
Hell no. We're not getting the 7 wins.
Well, that got us the number 9 pick, so that should get us a pretty good offensive line.
I think we're heading toward a number 7 draft pick, maybe. But I don't think we're going to get to 7 wins.
The Panthers are all the way to 9.
Yeah.
They're moving up.
Do you think if we play Jacksonville and Carolina over again, we would beat them?
No.
Not the way we're playing now. I don't think we would.
Nope.
We're sitting here and we talk about all of this, but it's just truly disheartening to be in this position.
Yeah, it is.
With all the expectations and the excitement that we had as a group going into this season, to be sitting here now 4-5 with the offense looking the way it does, and it was supposed to finally complement the defense we were going to put on the field. We got injuries all over the place.
We do.
No, we're not even talking about that. That definitely affects our ability to compete with the meat of our schedule coming up. We got injuries to key players. We lost one of our best defensive players. By the way, our best secondary player ain't played in a month, and there's no reports that he's going to play this week. Yeah. So it's looking real bleak. And at the end of the day, I don't care what happens. If you don't make it to the playoffs, it's time to clean house. That was what we had said to start the season. The last show that we put together before the season even started, we said for him to keep his job, they needed to make the playoffs.
Right.
That should be the mandate. I don't give a damn about no injuries because it don't look good now. Now, if we were sitting here with 9 games in and we were 8-1 and injuries happened and everything fell apart, fine.
Yeah.
But God, this guy is 0-18 on the road on Sundays.
Yeah.
As much as we hated Nagy didn't have a record like that. How the hell can you not win 1 game? 1 on the road in 2.5 years on Sunday? You can't win a game on the road. If you can't win on the road, you ain't going to the playoffs. You don't deserve to. If you can't win on the road, the worst team in the NFL just came to your building and kicked your ass.
They did. They embarrassed.
So,
that was embarrassing. Was that worse than the Cardinals game?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Anybody?
yeah. I mean, we're just sitting
Yes.
there. I mean, the Cardinals game. I'm thinking, why am I here? It's a late start. This is stupid. I should just
Yeah.
go home. But I mean, it was so bad Sunday that we're just sitting there laughing at the TV. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Something is wrong when people like us, who are just fans, we've never coached, we can call out a blitz, and our team, our NFL team with NFL coaches, does nothing to pick it up. Nothing. Like, there's something wrong. Like, we should not be able to call it a blitz, clear as day. And New England was not being clever. They were clearly walking 5 or 6 guys up to that line the entire game. They were not putting a mask on anything. They were saying, we're bringing 5 or 6, and you are not going to do shit about it. I mean, that was an embarrassing game. That was worse than the Cardinals. That was
For sure.
that. I still can't stomach that we just stood there and watched our quarterback get killed. It didn't go to 12 or 13 protection, or put somebody in the backfield on the left or right of him where we're in the shotgun. We just did nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
The funny thing today,
Yeah.
I kept seeing over and over again. You know, the last two quarterbacks. You know, when things were going bad with Mitch, is like, you know, is he good enough? Can he do it? Can he do it? Or with Justin, yeah, he's a great runner, but is he going to be able to throw? Is he going to be competitive? Is he good enough? Is he good enough? Today was none of that. They all know Caleb can play. And so it was, are the Bears failing another quarterback? That
Yes,
was
we
the
are.
storyline. That was
Yes.
it was all on the Bears and nothing on the player. And I think that's right.
Chicago, the place where quarterbacks go to die.
Go to die. Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
I think, what McMahon said that.
I mean, we haven't got this right in 100 years at quarterback, minus Sig Luckman, our only Hall of Fame guy.
So let me ask y'all a question.
Go ahead.
Because y'all know how I feel about this. But looking at what's happening now, and when you take into account my feelings for Justin Fields, let me ask you, did we fail Mitch?
Probably.
Yes. My thing about Fields and Mitch is you got to build the offense around him. Did all of our quarterbacks have faults? Yeah. But you got to play to their strengths, and you got to play to their weaknesses. We didn't do that with Mitch, and we didn't do that with Justin. And right now, obviously, Shane Waldron is not the right coordinator. We're doing that again. As we've already said many times, we're in the same washing machine. And Pat Lynch has another comment for us. That's exactly what teams are doing to us until we fix it. I agree. Pressure up the middle. Yeah. I mean, the Packers are watching game film right now. They, like Clarence said, they don't even need to watch it. They're just going to send pressure. They don't need to scout. They don't need to watch. This is a JV game. What we're going to watch is a JV game on Sunday. So let's talk about the Packers. How bad do you think it's going to be, Chicago, Clarence? Are we going to be within 10 points of this team? Is it going to be like 30-10? Do we even get a touchdown for the first time in 8 quarters? How bad is this going to be?
The Packers are not unbeatable. I think changing play callers, it depends on what system he uses, what is his strategy, what is his game plan. We have been saying all year that we need to run the ball.
We did not.
You can get in mass protection and you can run the ball. The Green Bay Packers can be ran on. We can still run the ball. You know, you get in single back formation, which is the best formation that we run the ball in, but we refuse to do it for some reason. We want to run our offense out of the shotgun 95% of the time, and you can see that it does not work. How many plays did you see them run Sunday with him under center? Not many. We were shotgun all damn day.
Yeah.
You know, so you can get in single back formation, max protect, put Kramer in at fullback, and you run the down ball. That's what you need to do to protect your quarterback anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And to get your defense to hold up, because your defense still is a formidable defense when you keep their ass off the field 66% of the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
You're wearing them out.
Yeah, we are.
By continuously to go on the field, your offense goes 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. You send your defense back out there because, oh, by the way, as bad as our offense has been on these games, fellas, our quarterback is not turning the ball over.
No,
he's not.
And so
I ask you, why is it that we can only score 3 points. And you continue to wear your defense out because we're not running the ball. That's why. If you run the ball, you preserve you put time on the clock. Time of possession is on your side. Your quarterback is not turning the ball over. You stand a chance. Smart play calling will help you. And that's what we need. We just need competent play calling at this point. And that's what I want to see Sunday. I am very interested to see what offensive sets we run, if we're going to run action, if we're going to run slip screens. We need to throw the wide receiver screen and tight end screen out of our damn playbook.
Yeah, we do.
But we need to run action. We need to run boot action. Those are his strengths. Get him to a stance to where he's comfortable throwing the ball from. But you can't let him sit back in the pocket. He's a dead man if you do that. You got to move him. You got to keep that defense thinking.
Todd, do we have any kind of chance this Sunday?
We got a chance, but I mean,
Yeah.
it just depends, if this is enough to get the players confident again. They've just lost all confidence. We've got a lot of talent. I know we've had major injuries on defense. I mean, Billings and Brisker are big chunks of that off our defense that that have been out extended, or in Billings' case is gone for the year. So, but I think that what I kept hearing today was that guys saying studied that offense, saying that this is a 10-year vet would struggle with some of these concepts. It was crazy. They need to strip this thing down, ask him with what he's comfortable running, and just try to get on the same page. I mean, a lot of it looks like preseason football where guys are, this far in the season, you shouldn't be, turning this way instead of that way, or what was going on here.
Yes.
I mean, that's the kind of crap that you settle out in preseason or the first couple of weeks of the year, and it should all be automatic now, and it's just not. And maybe this will be the key. I mean, we have a chance. Do we? If the odds are 6, I'd be tempted. I mean, I don't gamble, but I'd be tempted. So, but
I would lay the 6.
Yeah, what I'm saying.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah. So.
All right, guys. We're at the end of the show, so let's go into final thoughts. My final thoughts are, Jaquan Brisker, just get well. Like, when you have a concussion, he has to have a serious grade concussion to be out this long. So my thoughts and prayers are with him, because we really need to say that. Like, he's got to have the most severe grade concussion to be out this long. So my thoughts and prayers are definitely with that young man, and I hope he gets well. And I want to see him back on the field, but I definitely don't want to see him back if he's not well, which seems to be the case. And guys, if you're watching us, please join us, follow us, like us, subscribe, and thank you for the comments today. We're on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. This Sunday is a rivalry game. Anything can happen. I have a feeling the Packers are going to beat us pretty badly, though. I mean, this team seems to be in turmoil. When we want Bajan, and it just seems to be going downhill very quickly, which is disappointing. But Todd, what are your final thoughts?
I think we put a Band-Aid on a huge gash of a wound today, and
agreed.
And hopefully we can resolve that in the off season. But as far as this season goes, I'm looking at maybe 6 wins, and it's to take a step back from last year's crazy. So, but that's what I think, but we'll be there for it.
The bad guy, what are your final thoughts?
In order for this to be a rivalry game, both teams have to win sometime. In this case, we don't beat them, so it ain't no rivalry game. They always beat us. I'm sitting here, guys, and we about to get into week 10, and I'm thoroughly disappointed in where we stand. This is not how I wanted to be sitting here feeling with this football team this far up into the season. And I don't have the words for how I feel. I don't have the words, and it's the same old stuff, and it's an ongoing revolving door of stupidity. I mean, I wish we were just mediocre. We can't even say we are that. We're just bad. And we have no clue of what we're doing. The people who own this team don't have no clue of what they're doing, and they hire people that then you expect them to conform to a blueprint of stupidity.
Yes.
And they've been operating, and we've been singing the same old song for decades. At some point, they have got to change how they do business if they want the results on the field to change.
I agree with that 100%. Well, guys, until next time, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your comments, and bear down and beat the Packers for the love of God.
You're
Bear down.
dreaming.